So when it comes to learning another language, there are 5 levels of communication. Those 5 are, in ascending order, number 1, unintelligible. This obviously is a situation where you can tell somebody is saying words in your language, but you have absolutely no idea what they're saying. Number 2 would be mostly understandable. You get the rough idea of what they're trying to say, but you need extra details to fully complete it. For example, if somebody said in English, going shop, you may have the idea, but you don't really know who they're talking about, or there's other bits of information really that you may require. Number 3 is fully understandable. This is when you have no doubt about what the person is saying, what they're trying to communicate, but there are several aspects perhaps to what they're saying where they are not using the grammar in the way that they should, but there's no issue with it. For example, if somebody said, I going to shopping to 9 o'clock. Now there's at least 3 errors in there grammatically, but you know exactly what they're trying to say. Level 4 is occasional mistake. So this is where somebody uses the language very well, but they do make occasional grammatical mistakes, which obviously shows that they're not native, but there's no issue whatsoever with understanding, and it can be very pleasant to talk to people who are at this level. And then of course level 5 is native level. This is a level that very few learners ever reach, and it's a level that really would only expect mostly from native speakers. So the big question is, what is the correct level? Now obviously this will depend on what your purpose is, but specifically looking at the context of English speakers who live in Romania or who have a Romanian partner and want to learn Romanian, I think it's safe to say that very few are aiming at native level. In fact, most would be quite happy with a level 2 to a level 3. This is the kind of point at which you might require some clarification, but generally speaking, you know what they're trying to say. But here's where the problem often might creep in. It could be that because the way that you learned Romanian, if you are a native speaker, of course, is that you had mistakes constantly corrected all the time, because that's the way it happened in school. That was the way you learned grammar in school. You may feel that's the best way to help your partner. And so essentially, it's almost like you're trying to treat them as if they are a level 4, when in actual fact, they're kind of trying to get up to level 2. And it may be with the very best of intentions, but really it can do more harm than good. And another important aspect is dignity. If somebody feels when they're trying and they're putting in effort, they feel like they are stripped of their dignity, then that's a very hard thing to deal with. It can make somebody not want to try at all if every time they try, they just have mistakes pointed out, or sometimes they are laughed at. Most British people are completely used to having conversations with people at a level 2 or a level 3. In fact, so often they're delighted when it is a level 3 and things are clear, but very often it's a level 2, quite often a level 1, and we have to try to work out what the person is trying to say to us in English. So if you're helping somebody who's learning Romanian, then think realistically about what their goal is. If they're just trying to communicate with your family and your friends, then don't worry about the occasional mistake.